The unexpected return. The skies above Earth erupted in a brilliant flash of light, startling astronomers and military personnel alike. Alarms blared across every major space monitoring station on the planet as a massive object materialized seemingly out of nowhere. Colonel Sarah Chen, head of Earth's Orbital Defense Command, stared at the main view screen in disbelief. "What in the hell is that?" she demanded, her voice cutting through the chaos of the command center. Lieutenant Jackson, her senior analyst, furiously typed at his console. "Ma'am, you're not going to believe this. It's one of ours." Chen's eyebrows shot up. "Explain, Lieutenant." Jackson swallowed hard. "It's the EDS Horizon, ma'am. The supercarrier that disappeared during humanity's first extrasolar mission 200 years ago." A hush fell over the command center. The Horizon's disappearance was the stuff of legend, a cautionary tale taught to every space cadet. Now, 2 centuries later, it had returned. "Open a channel," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the bridge of the Horizon. A man in an unfamiliar uniform stood at attention, his weathered face a map of hard years and harder decisions. "This is Admiral Marcus Reeves of the Earth Defense Ship Horizon. To whom am I speaking?" Chen straightened her back. "Colonel Sarah Chen, Earth Orbital Defense Command. Admiral Reeves, your arrival is unexpected." Reeves' lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "I imagine so, Colonel. I'm afraid pleasantries will have to wait. We bring grave news and little time." Over the next hour, Reeves briefed Chen and her staff on the threat that had driven the Horizon back to Earth. An alien species known as the Vraks had been systematically conquering and strip mining planets across the galaxy. Earth was next on their list. "How long do we have?" Chen asked, her mind already racing with defensive strategies. Reeves' face darkened. 3 months, at most. "They're unlike anything we've ever faced, Colonel. Advanced, ruthless, and utterly without mercy." Chen nodded grimly. "We'll need everything you've got, Admiral. Knowledge, technology, tactics. You'll have it all," Reeves promised. "But I warn you, Colonel, we've been gone a long time. We've changed in ways you might find unsettling." As if on cue, a younger officer approached Reeves. Her movements were too smooth, too precise to be entirely human. "Admiral, the quantum drive is stabilized. We're ready to begin technology transfer on your order." Reeves nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant Zeta." He turned back to the view screen. "Colonel, we have much to discuss. Request permission to dock with your nearest orbital station." Chen hesitated for a moment, then made her decision. "Permission granted, Admiral. Welcome home." As the communication ended, Chen turned to her staff. "Sound the alarm. I want every world leader, every top military mind on a secure channel within the hour. As of this moment, we are at war." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The Horizon's crew, a strange mix of hardened human veterans and cybernetically enhanced soldiers, worked tirelessly to upgrade Earth's defenses. Quantum shields, gravitic weapons, and faster-than-light communication systems were hastily installed on everything from orbital platforms to terrestrial tanks. But it wasn't just the technology that was alien. The Horizon's crew moved with an eerie synchronicity, their minds linked by neural implants that allowed for instantaneous communication and coordination. They were more than human, a fact that caused no small amount of unease among Earth's population. Admiral Reeves stood before the United Earth Council, his holographic form towering over the assembled leaders. "I understand your concerns," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We've made choices that might seem extreme to you, but every enhancement, every sacrifice, was necessary for our survival. And now you're asking us to follow in your footsteps," the Chinese premier said, her voice tinged with skepticism. Reeves shook his head. "No, Madam Premier. I'm asking you to learn from our experiences, to take what works and discard what doesn't. The Vraks are coming, and they will show no mercy. We must be ready." As the council debated, Colonel Chen found herself in a quiet corner of the orbital station, staring out at the horizon. Admiral Reeves approached, his footsteps eerily silent. "Penny for your thoughts, Colonel," he asked. Chen turned to face him. 200 years, Admiral. 200 years of advancement, of evolution. How can we possibly bridge that gap in time to face this threat? Reeves smiled, and for a moment, Chen saw the man he must have been before the long exile. "You underestimate yourselves, Colonel. Humanity's greatest strength has always been its adaptability, its drive to overcome the impossible." He gestured towards Earth, a blue marble hanging in the void. "We may have changed, but at our core, we're still human. And together, we will show the Vrax why it's a terrible mistake to underestimate humanity." As if in response to his words, a series of lights flickered to life across the planet's surface. New defense installations, powered by the Horizon's technology, coming online. Chen nodded, a fierce determination settling over her. "Then let's get to work, Admiral. We have a planet to defend." As they walked back to the command center, neither of them noticed the small dart-like probe that detached itself from the Horizon's hull, streaking away into the depths of space. The first shot in humanity's greatest war had been fired, and the enemy now knew Earth would not fall easily. Preparations for war. The next 2 months saw Earth transform into a fortress. Cities bristled with energy shields, oceans teemed with automated submarine drones, and the skies were filled with swarms of next-generation fighter craft. But the most dramatic changes were happening in orbit. Colonel Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the newly christened EDS Defiant, Earth's first quantum drive-equipped battleship. Built using plans from the Horizon, it represented humanity's best hope against the Vrax threat. "Status report," Chen barked, her eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding her. Lieutenant Commander Aisha Kazemi, her second-in-command, responded crisply. "All systems nominal, Colonel. Quantum drive is spooled and ready. Gravitic weapons are charged and targeting systems are online." Chen nodded, a grim smile on her face. "Good. Let's see what this ship can do. Helm, set course for the Kuiper Belt. We're going to test our teeth." As the Defiant accelerated away from Earth, leaving a trail of distorted spacetime in its wake, Chen couldn't help but marvel at how quickly humanity had adapted to the new reality. The fear and mistrust that had initially greeted the Horizon's crew had given way to a determined cooperation. Earth's best and brightest worked alongside the cybernetically enhanced veterans, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But it wasn't just military technology that was advancing. Medical breakthroughs derived from the Horizon's databanks were revolutionizing healthcare. Agricultural innovations were eliminating food shortages. Clean energy solutions were making pollution a thing of the past. In the depths of the Gobi Desert, Dr. Yuki Tanaka supervised the final stages of Earth's first planetary shield generator. The massive structure hummed with power, drawing energy directly from the quantum vacuum. "Power levels are holding steady," one of her assistants reported. "We're ready for a full-scale test." Tanaka took a deep breath. "Initiate the sequence." A low thrumming filled the air, building to a crescendo. Suddenly, a shimmering dome of energy expanded outward, growing to encompass 100 square kilometers before stabilizing. Tanaka allowed herself a moment of elation before turning to her team. "Send word to the Defense Council. Tell them Project Aegis is operational." Meanwhile, in a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Marcus Reeves stood before a group of Earth's most elite soldiers. Each had volunteered for a program that would push the limits of human enhancement. "I won't lie to you," Reeves said, his voice echoing in the cavernous room. "What we're about to do will change you. You'll be faster, stronger, and more resilient than any humans in Earth's history. But you'll also be the tip of the spear in our fight against the Vrax." A young woman in the front row, Captain Maria Santos, spoke up. Will we still be human, sir?" Reeves met her gaze steadily. That's a question I'd grappled with for 2 centuries, Captain. What I can tell you is this. Being human isn't about the form of your body or the enhancements in your brain. It's about the choices you make, the values you uphold, and the people you protect. As the volunteers filed into the medical bays, Reeves turned to Dr. Elias Cohen, the lead scientist on the project. "Are you sure about this, Elias? There's no going back once we start." Cohen nodded, his eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "We've refined the process based on your crew's data. These enhancements will give our soldiers a fighting chance against the Vrax's foot soldiers." Reeves clasped the doctor's shoulder. "Then let's hope it's enough." Back in orbit, the Defiant emerged from its quantum jump at the edge of the solar system. Chen marveled at the view screen, taking in the vast expanse of the Kuiper Belt. "Deploy the target drones," she ordered. "Let's see what these gravitic weapons can do." As the drones scattered among the icy bodies of the outer solar system, Chen felt a surge of pride. In just 2 months, humanity had leapfrogged centuries of technological development. But would it be enough? Her musings were interrupted by an urgent call from Earth. Admiral Reeves' hologram materialized on the bridge, his face grim. "Colonel, we've detected a Vrax scout ship entering the Orc cloud. It's on a direct course for Earth." Chen's blood ran cold. "How long?" "At its current speed, 72 hours. Chen nodded, her mind racing. "We'll intercept it. This is our chance to test our capabilities against real Vrax technology." Reeves looked like he wanted to object, but finally nodded. "Agreed. But be careful, Sarah. We can't afford to lose you or the Defiant." As the communication ended, Chen turned to her crew. "You heard the Admiral. Battle stations, everyone. We're about to make first contact." The Defiant's engines flared to life, propelling the ship deeper into the outer solar system. As they raced to intercept the Vrax scout, Chen couldn't shake the feeling that this skirmish would set the tone for the entire war. "Weapons hot," she ordered. "Let's show these aliens why it's a bad idea to threaten Earth." As the Defiant vanished into the darkness of space, the people of Earth held their collective breath. The first battle in the war for humanity's survival was about to begin, and the fate of billions hung in the balance. On Earth, in cities and towns across the globe, people gathered around screens, waiting for news. The initial panic that had gripped the planet upon learning of the Vrax threat had given way to a steely determination. Humanity had faced extinction before, from its own folly, from natural disasters, from the harsh realities of expanding into space. Each time, they had emerged stronger. In the streets of New Delhi, Buenos Aires, Lagos, and countless other cities, impromptu vigils sprang up. Candles flickered in windows, their light a defiant beacon against the encroaching darkness. Humanity stood united as never before, all eyes turned to the stars, waiting for word of the Defiant's encounter. As the hours ticked by, Admiral Reeves found himself in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by the world's most powerful leaders. The tension was palpable as they waited for news from the outer solar system. The U.S. President, a woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many crises, broke the silence. "Admiral, in your experience, what are our chances?" Reeves met her gaze steadily. "Madam President, if you had asked me that question when we first arrived, I would have said slim to none. But now..." He gestured to the holographic display, showing Earth's new defenses. "Now I believe we have a fighting chance. The Vrax are powerful, but they've never encountered a species quite like humanity." As if in response to his words, a priority communication lit up the main screen. Colonel Chen's face appeared, her expression a mix of exhilaration and grim determination. "Earth Command, this is the Defiant. We've engaged the Vrax scout ship. I'm pleased to report victory. We've captured the vessel and are bringing it back for study." A cheer erupted in the Situation Room, echoed in command centers and homes across the planet. It was just a small skirmish, a prelude to the greater conflict to come, but it was proof. Humanity could stand against the Vraks and win. As the celebrations died down, Reeves allowed himself a small smile. The real war was yet to come, but humanity had shown its teeth. The Vraks were about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the tenacity, creativity, and sheer determination of the human spirit. First contact and initial skirmishes. The captured Vrak scout ship hung in high orbit, surrounded by a swarm of Earth vessels and research stations. Colonel Sarah Chen stood in a sterile laboratory aboard the International Space Station, staring at the first confirmed Vrax prisoner through a force field. The alien was tall, easily 7 feet, with iridescent scales covering its body and 4 arms ending in wickedly sharp claws. Its eyes, multifaceted like an insect's, reflected the harsh laboratory lights. Dr. Elias Cohen approached, his voice low. "It's remarkable, Colonel. Their biology is silicon-based, not carbon like ours. It makes them incredibly resilient to environmental extremes." Chen nodded, her eyes never leaving the Vraks. "And their technology?" "Advanced, but not incomprehensible," Cohen replied. "We've already reverse-engineered several key components. Their FTL drive, in particular, is fascinating. It's allowing us to refine our own quantum drive designs." Before Chen could respond, an alarm blared through the station. Admiral Reeves' voice came over the comm system, tense and urgent. "All hands, battle stations. Long-range sensors have detected a Vrax battle group entering the solar system. This is not a drill." Chen's blood ran cold. "How many?" "At least 50 ships, including what appears to be a dreadnought-class vessel." She turned to Cohen. "Secure the prisoner and all research data. Then get yourself to Earth. We're going to need every brilliant mind we have if we're going to survive this." As Chen raced to her ship, the Defiant, Earth's defense forces scrambled into action. The planetary shield generators hummed to life, encasing the planet in a shimmering energy field. Orbital defense platforms pivoted, their weapons charging, and from hidden bases across the solar system, swarms of automated drones and fighter craft poured forth, forming a multi-layered defense grid. Aboard the EDS Horizon, Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge, his cybernetically enhanced mind interfacing directly with the ship's systems. Around him, his crew, a seamless blend of human and machine, worked with eerie synchronicity. "All ships, this is Admiral Reeves." His voice rang out across the entire Earth defense network. "The enemy we've prepared for is here. Remember your training, trust in each other, and fight with everything you have. The fate of our species hangs in the balance. Good hunting." As the Vrax fleet approached, humanity struck first. From hidden bases in the Kuiper Belt, massive rail guns fired, launching projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. The relativistic kill vehicles tore through the front ranks of the Vrax fleet, destroying several ships before they could even react. The space around Pluto's orbit lit up with weapon fire as the two forces clashed. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought with a ferocity that seemed to catch the Vrax off guard. Gravitic weapons warped space itself, crushing Vrax vessels or tearing them apart. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through enemy shields, detonating within the ships themselves. But the Vrax were far from helpless. Their return fire was devastating, rays of coherent energy slicing through Earth ships, while swarms of self-replicating nanobots sought to disable systems and devour hulls. In the thick of the battle, the Defiant danced between enemy ships, its advanced maneuverability systems allowing it to avoid the worst of the Vrax onslaught. Colonel Chen's voice was steady as she called out orders, coordinating with other Earth vessels to focus fire on key targets. "Kazemi, target that cruiser's main power core," Chen ordered. "All batteries, fire on my mark. Now." The Defiant's gravitic cannons fired in perfect synchronization with 2 other Earth battleships. The combined shot punctured the Vrax cruiser's defenses, causing it to erupt in a spectacular explosion. But for every victory, there was a loss. Earth ships fell to Vrax weapons, their crews fighting to the last. The space around Pluto became a graveyard of broken vessels and debris from both sides. As the battle raged, a new threat emerged. The Vrax dreadnought, a behemoth that dwarfed even the horizon, began to power up its main weapon. A sphere of roiling energy formed at its prow, growing larger by the second. "All ships, fall back." Reeves' voice cut through the calm chatter. "That weapon has the power to crack a planet. We can't let it get closer to Earth." Chen gritted her teeth. "Negative, Admiral. We might not get another shot at their command ship." She turned to her crew. "Plot a course directly for that dreadnought. We're going to ram it." "Colonel, that's suicide," Reeves protested. "No, it's necessary," Chen replied, her voice calm. "Our shields are nearly depleted, but our quantum drive is intact. If we can initiate a drive implosion inside their ship, it should be enough to take it out." There was a moment of silence before Reeves spoke again. "Understood, Colonel. It's been an honor serving with you." As the Defiant accelerated towards the massive Vrax ship, Chen looked at her crew. "It's been a privilege, all of you." "For Earth. For Earth," they echoed. The Defiant streaked towards the dreadnought, dodging fire from smaller Vrax ships. As they approached, Chen initiated the quantum drive, pushing it beyond its safety limits. The ship shuddered, reality itself seeming to warp around them. In the last moments before impact, Chen closed her eyes, thinking of Earth, of all they were fighting to protect. The Defiant struck the dreadnought's hull, its overloading quantum drive creating a localized singularity. The resulting explosion was visible across the entire solar system. The dreadnought and the Defiant both consumed in a burst of light and energy. As the light faded, the remaining Earth forces pressed their advantage. The loss of their command ship threw the Vrax into disarray, and humanity's ships struck ruthlessly, picking off enemy vessels one by one. Hours later, as the last Vrax ship retreated from the solar system, a somber quiet fell over Earth's forces. They had won their first major engagement, but the cost had been high. Dozens of ships lost, thousands of lives sacrificed, including the brave crew of the Defiant. Aboard the Horizon, Admiral Reeves looked out at the debris field that had once been a furious battlefield. "Send out recovery teams," he ordered, his voice heavy. "I want every piece of Vrax technology we can salvage. And find the Defiant. Colonel Chen and her crew deserve a hero's return." As the cleanup began, news of the victory spread across Earth. In cities around the world, people poured into the streets, celebrating their survival, but also mourning those lost. Humanity had faced its first true test against the Vrax and emerged victorious. But it was clear that this was only the beginning. In the White House Situation Room, the President addressed the world's leaders. "Today, we've shown the Vrax and ourselves what humanity is capable of. But make no mistake, this is not the end. The Vrax will return, and we must be ready. As we honor our fallen, we must also prepare for the battles to come. Humanity stands united, and united, we will prevail." As her words echoed across the globe, factories ramped up production, scientists pored over captured Vrax technology, and a new wave of volunteers stepped forward to join Earth's defense forces. The Vrax had dealt humanity a harsh blow, but in doing so, they had awakened a sleeping giant. The real war was just beginning, and humanity was determined to meet it head-on. The battle for Earth. 3 months after the initial Vrax incursion, Earth had transformed into a fortress world. The debris field from the battle near Pluto had been converted into a vast network of automated defense platforms. Mars and Venus bristled with quantum cannons and gravitic missile silos. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier had been pushed to its limit in preparation for the coming storm. It wasn't enough. The Vrax returned with a vengeance, their armada darkening the sky as it approached Earth. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, poured into the solar system. The battle that followed would be etched into the annals of human history forever. Admiral Marcus Reeves stood on the bridge of the horizon, his cybernetically enhanced mind processing tactical data at inhuman speeds. All ships engage at will. Defend your sectors to the last. For Earth. The space around Earth erupted in chaos. Quantum torpedoes and gravitic beams crisscrossed the void, while swarms of fighters engaged in dogfights that spanned thousands of kilometers in seconds. The planetary shield flickered under the onslaught of Vrax's weaponry, holding, for now. On the ground, things were equally desperate. Despite humanity's best efforts, Vrax's drop pods punched through gaps in the orbital defenses. Major cities around the world became battlegrounds as Earth's military clashed with Vrax's shock troops. In the ruins of downtown Tokyo, Captain Maria Santos led her squad of enhanced soldiers against a Vrax assault team. Her cybernetic eyes scanned the battlefield, targeting data streaming directly into her neural interface. "Jensen, on your 6, she shouted, her voice carrying over the squad's tactical net. Private Jensen spun, his augmented reflexes allowing him to dodge a Vrax energy blast and return fire in one fluid motion. Santos vaulted over a crashed maglev train, her enhanced muscles propelling her 20 meters through the air. She landed behind a group of Vrax soldiers, her nano-forged blades slicing through their armor before they could react. But for every Vrax they took down, more seemed to appear. Santos tapped her comm. "Command, this is Fireteam Aegis. We're being overrun. Request immediate support." The response came not from Earth Command, but from high above. "Fireteam Aegis, this is the EDS Defiant II. Support incoming." Santos looked up just in time to see a sleek battleship descend through the clouds, its point defense systems lighting up the sky as it engaged the Vrax dropships. A moment later, pods rained down around Santos and her team, bursting open to reveal squads of combat robots. "Courtesy of Dr. Cohen," came a voice over the comm. "Give 'em hell, Captain." With renewed vigor, Santos led the combined force of enhanced humans and combat robots in a counterattack, pushing the Vrax back street by street, building by building. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In the skies over New York, swarms of quantum-linked drones danced between Vrax fighters, their hive-mind intelligence allowing them to coordinate with uncanny precision. Beneath the waters of the South China Sea, cybernetically enhanced dolphins and whales worked alongside human submarines, using their natural sonar abilities to detect and destroy submerged Vrax vessels. But the tide of battle ebbed and flowed. For every victory on the ground, the situation in orbit grew more dire. The Vrax numbers seemed endless, their ships sacrificing themselves by the hundreds to wear down Earth's defenses. Aboard the horizon, Admiral Reeves watched with growing despair as another defense platform fell. "Status report," he barked. His XO, a woman more machine now than human, responded instantly. "Planetary shield at 23% and falling. We've lost 40% of our orbital forces. Vrax troops have made landfall on every continent." Reeves closed his eyes for a moment, allowing himself a brief second of doubt before squaring his shoulders. "Initiate Operation Goddardammerung." The XO's eyes widened. "Sir, that's a last resort. If we do that. If we don't, humanity falls." Reeves cut her off. "Send the signal." Across Earth and throughout the solar system, hidden installations hummed to life. In the Marianas Trench, in the heart of the Sahara, in the frozen wastes of Antarctica, massive generators began to power up, tapping directly into the quantum fabric of space-time. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood in the control room of the Sahara installation, her hands flying over holographic controls. "All stations, report in." One by one, confirmations came in from around the world. Tanaka took a deep breath, then activated her global comm. "Admiral Reeves, all Goddardammerung stations are online, awaiting your command." In orbit, Reeves gave the order. "All Earth forces, fall back to minimum safe distance." "Dr. Tanaka, you have permission to fire." Tanaka nodded, though no one could see her. "Understood, Admiral." May whatever gods exist have mercy on us all. She pressed the activation key. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, space itself seemed to twist around Earth. A wave of distorted reality expanded outward at light speed, washing over friend and foe alike. Vrak ships caught in the wave simply ceased to exist, their very atoms scattered across dimensions. But the effect didn't stop there. The wave continued to expand, consuming everything in its path. Mars, Venus, the asteroid belt, all vanished in an instant. By the time the wave dissipated, the inner solar system had been wiped clean. In the eerie calm that followed, the remaining Earth ships powered up their quantum drives, jumping to predetermined coordinates far from their home system. As they emerged from FTL, the crew of the Horizon and the other surviving ships looked back towards where Earth had been. There was nothing there. No planets, no sun, not even debris. Just empty space where humanity's cradle had once been. Admiral Reeves stood silently, tears streaming down his face. Billions of lives, an entire world, sacrificed to stop the Vraks. But not all was lost. The ships carried precious cargo, seeds, genetic samples, the best and brightest of humanity's survivors. Earth was gone, but its children lived on. As the reality of what had happened sank in, Reeves turned to address the fleet. "We've lost our home," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "But we haven't lost who we are. We are humanity. We've faced extinction and survived. We've sacrificed everything to ensure our species lives on. And now, we will rebuild. We will find a new home. And one day, we will make the Vraks pay for what they've done." A chorus of determined voices answered him. Humanity had suffered its greatest loss, but in that loss, they had found an unbreakable resolve. The Vraks thought they had won, but they had only succeeded in creating an enemy that would never rest, never stop, until justice was served. As the fleet set course for distant stars, the survivors of Earth carried with them not just the legacy of their lost world, but the indomitable spirit that had allowed humanity to reach for the stars in the first place. The battle for Earth was over, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. Turning the tide. 5 years had passed since the fall of Earth. The remnants of humanity, aboard their fleet of survivors, had been on the run, always one step ahead of the pursuing Vraks. But in those 5 years, humanity had not been idle. Hidden in the rings of a gas giant in an unremarkable star system, the fleet had grown. Ships were repaired, new ones built. The survivors learned, adapted, and evolved. The fusion of human ingenuity and Vraks technology salvaged from countless skirmishes had given birth to innovations beyond anything either species had previously achieved. Aboard the Horizon, now the flagship of humanity's armada, Admiral Marcus Reeves stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. Beside him, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her hair now streaked with gray, studied the data scrolling across her neural interface. "We're ready, Marcus," she said, her voice soft but filled with determination. "Project Phoenix is complete." Reeves nodded, his cybernetic eyes focusing on a particular point in the galactic map. "And the Nexus?" Located, came a new voice. Captain Maria Santos, now head of special operations, stepped into the room. Her once experimental enhancements were now standard among Earth's military. "Our deep cover agents confirmed it. That's the heart of the Vraks Empire." Reeves took a deep breath. "Then it's time. Send the signal. All ships, prepare for Operation Lazarus." Throughout the fleet, humans and AI alike sprang into action. Ships decoupled from the makeshift stations built in the gas giant's rings. Weapons powered up, shields hummed to life, and quantum drives spooled for what could be their final jump. Dr. Elias Cohen's voice came over the comms. "Admiral, Project Phoenix is powering up. We're ready on your mark." Reeves closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of Earth, of all they had lost, and all they fought to reclaim. "For Earth," he whispered, then opened his eyes. "All ships, jump. In a flash of quantum energy, the fleet vanished, reappearing at the edge of the Vrak's home system. But they weren't alone. As soon as they arrived, space around them shimmered and warped. Thousands of ships seemed to materialize out of nowhere, the fruits of Project Phoenix. Quantum ghost ships, they existed in a state of temporal flux, nearly impossible to detect or hit. Each was piloted by an AI core modeled on the neural patterns of Earth's best pilots, granting them human intuition and creativity coupled with machine precision. The Vraks, caught completely off guard, scrambled to respond. But humanity had not come merely to fight. As the Ghost Fleet engaged the Vrak's armada, the Horizon and a select group of ships broke off, making a beeline for the system's central planet. On the Horizon's bridge, Reeves watched as the battle unfolded. Status on the Nexus. Santos, her mind linked directly to the ship's sensors, reported instantly. Defenses are strong, but we've identified a weakness. There's a fluctuation in their planetary shield, likely a result of the power drain from their fleet mobilization. Reeves nodded. Then that's our window. All ships, concentrate fire on that point. Dr. Tanaka, prepare the package for deployment. The package, humanity's ultimate weapon. A fusion of quantum technology and the space warping principles that had destroyed Earth, but refined, controlled, targeted. As the Horizon and its escort ships punched through the Vrak's defenses, Tanaka's fingers flew over her console, making last-minute adjustments. Package is armed and ready, she reported. But Marcus, you should know, there's no coming back from this. Once it's activated, this entire system will be cut off from the rest of the universe. Permanently. Reeves met her gaze, his expression grim. Then we make sure we're on the right side when it happens. Captain Santos, you have the con. Get our people out of here. Santos started to protest, but Reeves cut her off. That's an order, Captain. Humanity will need leaders to rebuild. Make sure our sacrifice means something. As Santos reluctantly took command, Reeves made his way to the launch bay where the package waited. Dr. Tanaka fell into step beside him. I'm going with you, she said, her tone brooking no argument. Together, they boarded the specially designed craft that would deliver the package. As they launched, the battle raged around them. The Ghost Fleet was taking heavy losses, but they had served their purpose, keeping the bulk of the Vrak's forces occupied. Reeves piloted the craft towards the heart of the Vrak's world, dodging anti-aircraft fire and debris. You know, he said conversationally, I always wondered if we'd find a way back. If Earth was somehow still out there, just waiting for us to return. Tanaka smiled sadly. In a way, it is. As long as we remember, as long as we carry it with us, Earth lives on. They broke through the last of the Vrak's defenses, their ship screaming towards the massive complex that housed the Nexus, the central node of Vrak's consciousness and the source of their incredible technological advancements. Impact in 10 seconds, Reeves called out. He looked at Tanaka. It's been an honor, Doctor. Likewise, Admiral, she replied, her hand hovering over the activation switch for the package. The ship struck the Nexus complex, burrowing deep into its core. In that instant, Tanaka activated the package. Reality itself seemed to scream. A bubble of distorted space-time exploded outward from the point of impact, engulfing the planet, then the system. The Vrak ships caught in its path simply ceased to exist, their very atoms scattered across dimensions. But unlike the desperate last stand at Earth, this was controlled, targeted. As the wave expanded to the edge of the system, it stabilized, forming a permanent barrier. The Vrak's homeworld, the heart of their empire, was cut off from the rest of the universe forever. Aboard the Horizon, now safely outside the affected zone, Captain Santos watched in awe as the Vrak's fleet, suddenly cut off from their central intelligence, fell into disarray. All ships, she ordered, her voice thick with emotion, mop up the remaining enemy forces. Today, we avenge Earth. Today, we take back our future. In the years that followed, Humanity rebuilt. They found new worlds to call home, re-established contact with lost colonies, and slowly but surely reclaimed their place in the galaxy. The Vraks, without their central leadership and most advanced technology, were no longer a threat. But they never forgot. On every human world, in every colony and outpost, monuments were erected, not just to Earth, not just to those lost in the war, but to the indomitable spirit of humanity. The spirit that had faced extinction and emerged stronger, that had lost everything but refused to be broken. And on a small blue-green world remarkably like the one they had lost, the survivors of Earth gathered to dedicate a new academy. Admiral Santos, her hair now white, but her spine still straight, addressed the crowd. "We came from Earth," she said, her voice carrying across the assembled masses. "A world of oceans and mountains, of bustling cities and quiet forests. We lost that world, but we never lost who we are. We are explorers, innovators, survivors. We faced our darkest hour and emerged into the light. And now, as we look to the stars once again, we carry with us the lessons of our past and the hope for our future." She gestured to the gleaming buildings behind her. "This academy will train the next generation of leaders, scientists, and explorers. They will go forth into the galaxy not seeking conquest, but understanding. Not driven by fear, but by curiosity. For we are humanity. We have faced the abyss, and we have prevailed. Our story is far from over. In fact, I believe it's only just begun." As the crowd cheered, a new ship rose from the launch pad behind the academy. Sleek, powerful, and bearing the name Earth's Legacy, it streaked into the sky, carrying the first of many expeditions to explore their new galaxy. Humanity had lost its cradle, but in doing so, it had gained the stars. The long night was over. A new dawn had begun.